If you only see the conditions in other countries, how pathetic they are. Okay. So this is a favorite picture of mine where we have donated the face masks to the children and the mothers in the remote communities where they have not heard about the education, the healthcare awareness education on the COVID until we reached them and we explained them the problems of the pandemic disease, how it spreads and kills people at mass. And we were donated the face masks to the children and the sanitizers, and we educated them on the healthcare awareness. You see the doctors in surveys, most of them are come under the primary physicians. They face the patient's day-to-day life. The patients come with the different types of the problems, and the primary physician are the one who's going to take care of. Anyone is having a health problem, they will be satisfied only with the word which is coming out of his physician. And those days, the physicians were considered as gods. But now the situation is coming in a different manner where the situation has gone from better to worse. Even if I have heard about many situations where the hospitals and the physicians were attacked. I tell you why there is a problem with this. If someone is talking in between and they have their audio, will you please mute your mic? I would like everyone to hear my words. Please mute your mic. Yeah, please. Thank you. Even in the public health, see, we do not consider a problem as a problem until we get into the problem. So that is a problem of a problem, okay? If you see an accident, someone is on the road, is hit, he is struggling for his life. Most of us, we do not run to help the victim because the victim is someone. Is someone X, Y, or Z? You think a moment if the victim is one of your close friend or your relatives, your brother or sister, what will you do? So our emotions, our feelings, they are all determined by the situation where we are placed in. Is the victim is your relative or is unknown? Based on that, your relation, your emotion or your reaction is determined. If there is someone X, Y, Z, we don't bother. And the worst situation nowadays is they take videos and share it in the WhatsApp. That's a very, very, very inhuman way. You show an accident and a victim and take a video and share it in the WhatsApp. It is totally an inhuman way of sharing your feelings. If that is your brother or sister of your friend, will someone do that? Will they rush to help the victim or will they just take a video and share it on the WhatsApp? See how situation is changed. So in the public health, the doctors, when they see a patient, a victim, they do not see whether it is a relative or a friend or anything. A patient is always a patient where he has to extend his service. You have anywhere seen a doctor, a physician taking a video and sharing it on the WhatsApp of his patient? No, never. It's a common man who is making a complaint about a doctor and the hospital service. We are the one doing that in human ways. And there comes the super specialty service where a disease or healthcare has to be extended to the patient in a highly specialized manner. There comes a super specialty, where a clinician should have an extended knowledge and experience in treating a particular disease, not all the disease. It's a neurology. A person is well experienced in only in the neurology aspect. If it involves an orthopedics, the bone, he will not indulge in treating the disease. He would invite a colleague from the orthopedics, a bone specialist, though he is a specialist in a neurology, he will invite a specialist in bone and orthopedics to help him. So that is a super specialty. How many of us have understood the pain the clinicians they are undergoing in their day-to-day life? Never. And the cancer treatment and research. And the doctors, they do service in the cancer treatment. At the same time, they document and they extend the clinical trials and the clinical research, and they contribute to the medical research in the form of the day-to-day activities in the research they contribute. And the pain and palliative, where the disease cannot be cured. For example, in advanced cancer disease, so there is no cure, only in pain and palliative. There's only the hope for the patient to face their end without any pain. So you help them. There also the clinicians, the doctors, they extend their service for their peaceful death. And the community empowerment. This is beyond the hospital boundaries. This is beyond their enclosure as a hospital. The most of our friends, the doctors, they come out of the hospital, we have gone to the communities and help the communities to empower them, not only the health care, but also with their social and financial aspects. There are many programs have been conducted by many doctors and the hospital setups in the community empowerment program. I'll give you a very simple example. 4 years back, there was a student called Tamil Maran from Tamil Nadu, was detected with the oral cancer. That time he was doing his 10th standard. No risk factors, no other factors which can relate to the cancer, but because of that unknown etiology, he has developed an oral cancer. We were supposed to be treated in a cancer hospital, where they said the nominal fee would be around 5 lakh rupees. So that is the time the patient's father, he approached me, and I consulted with my friends who are in the cancer, oral cancer surgical oncology surgeon, and he said, "No, ask the patient to come to us immediately, we will take care of him." So he was operated, and they had to undergo some of the titanium implants and everything. And you won't believe the total expenditure was brought down less than 2 lakh rupees. The family said they were able to pay only the 2 lakhs. And the entire team, they said they will adjust whatever they could do. So less than 2 lakh rupees, they completed the surgery. Even today, the patient, Tamil Maran, is doing very well. And 2 times he attempted the NEET, he couldn't do success because of that is the time he was developing some complications. I think this year he wanted to be a surgeon. He wanted to be a clinician and surgeon. He wanted to do service in this field. So he is appearing for the NEET exam now. That is his dream. Because he got the oral cancer, he was helped by the cancer oncologists, the surgeons. So he wanted to become an oncology surgeon and do the service to the people. Most of the clinical doctors, they are all unsung heroes. So they are at the forefront of the war and they fight the disease. Day-to-day life, we see the moment you think of a disease, you go to a doctor, you think of paying your fees. Of course, the day-to-day life that become your medical treatment has becoming a very costlier. Yeah, I don't deny that. I don't deny that. In general, it is true. But to run a setup, to being a doctor, to do a service to others, you need the basic expenditures. You have to meet the basic expenditures. And there are many commercials and logistics. And we have helped many patients in getting the drugs in time. When the market price is 12,000 rupees, we have obtained the drugs for 8,000 rupees, the wholesale price, and given to the patients directly. It is not billed in the hospital. Otherwise, it will be billed as 12,000 rupees. We have done that. And overall, all other issues, the emotional compulsion, how you are handling the patient and the bystanders, the family, the relatives, how you are handling them. More than a doctor, more than a general treating physician, sometimes you have to be a psychologist. You have to handle the patients and the relatives in such a way that they overcome their burdens. Even personally, I have handled a very pathetic situation yesterday night at 11 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I got a call from a very close associate that his son, 3.5 years old, has become breathless. I told him to get to the hospital. I rushed to the hospital where the poor boy was declared brought dead. 3.5 years old boy who had an history of eczema. Some issue, some problem we do not know. He developed, and the poor boy breathed his last in his home itself. So when they approached, we brought the boy to the hospital to do something to retrieve. No, it was miserably we failed. So we have to compose the father and mother, the relatives. There are situations where we do not know why it's happening. It could be an autoimmune disorder. See, generally people do their mistakes. They drink. They consume tobacco. They smoke to the core. They do not find fault with the tobacco companies. They do not find fault with the wine, the bars. They do not find fault with their friends who are giving companies during the parties, smoking cigarettes, cigars, and tobacco, and consuming alcohols, the liquors. I did not come to complain about the cell phone service providers and cell phone. A person is a two-wheeler rider speaking over his cell phone and meeting with an accident. No. Have you ever seen these people, the relatives, go and complain against a tobacco company or a bar or a cell phone company? No, never. But something happens, the victim is brought to the hospitals where the doctors try their level of their best. If the victim cannot be recovered, then the relatives find fault with the doctors and they attack the hospitals and the doctors. That is what is happening now. They have a problem, they go to some other person. Someone says you go to that street vendor, he will give some drug. It will clear your disease. Some village, some under the tree, someone will give you some drug. You go and take it, it will treat. They will go and take the drug. In the name of a drug, they will take something. So I am not finding fault with the other thing, Ayurveda and Siddha. Every medicine is a great medicine. It has its own value. I am talking about the unscientific way the people are doing it, not the true science. In true science, in fact, I am a supportive of integrated medicine. We are working on Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani with allopathic on evidence-based medicine. We are working on the many projects now. We worked on a molecular medicine project in Ayurveda proposal. I'm not finding fault with any other thing. I am finding fault with the people who are extending the unscientific medicine and people are following that. At the end, when they failed in everything, as the last resource, they come to a super specialty hospital where the patient dies. Then the relatives find fault only with this doctor and the hospital. This is a very unpathetic situation. I just want to mention about a student. She is an anesthetist from a leading government medical college in Bangalore. Out of her interest, she did a PhD in drug testing because she knows many of the drugs which they are using in their day-to-day life not suitable for all the patients. Some patients have some allergic reactions. So you wanted to establish a drug testing system using the liver cells. Liver cell embedded microfluidic diagnostic system. As a doctor, as an anesthetist, he has a very tight schedule. And she's getting salary only for that. The moment they get out of their service, they're totally exhausted. But seeing all these problems in their service, they understood that something they can do and they can contribute. So out of their own interest and spending from their own money, they wanted to contribute to the medical research. And she has taken up the research on the hepatocyte, that is a liver cell-based drug testing system, and she got her degree. The other high The guy you are seeing is a liver transplant surgeon. His job is to do the liver transplant. Where in a private setup, the surgery will cost more than 40 lakh rupees. And in a government setup, at least 20 lakh rupees. And this guy wanted to bring this amount below 8 lakh rupees. He is not going to pay from his pocket, whatever the surgeries he is doing. But he wanted to contribute from his side to the society, to the patients, to their family, to reduce their burden. So we worked on the hepatocyte, the liver cells. During the other surgeries where the extra liver has been discarded, we wanted to culture them and store them and use it in the liver transplant program so that 50% of the expenditure can be removed. So it can be done within less than 10 lakh rupees. They have come out successfully with the results. The liver cells obtained from the other regular surgeries can be stored and can be used for the liver transplant program. We don't need a donor at all. We don't need a donor liver. We can use the stored liver cells in place of donor liver. He has completed his doctorate degree and still he is working on it to refine his outcome to use it in his regular liver transplant program. So there are many things happening in the clinical side where it is not known outside. The patients only see their problems, their ailments, they come to the hospital. The moment they are cured and they are a hospital with their discharge summary and the prescription, that's it. They don't want to understand the problems the doctors going through in the day-to-day life. When I have seen some patients, they come walk in, they say, "Doctor, do you remember me? And you know my condition?" And the patient is walking after 3 months and she is asking about her condition, whether the doctors is remembering. For her, that is the only problem. But for a doctor, he is seeing more than 50 patients per day. So on average, 1,500 patients per month. In a month, 4,500 patients. How can a patient expect the doctor to remember the patient's conditions? Very pathetic. The beginning I mentioned about the conditions in Kenya. It's better to understand which is very, very problematic, very pathetic, so that at least we will start to understand and appreciate the services what we are getting in our country, in our environment. At least we'll be very thankful to our clinicians and the paramedical staff for their service, what they do. This is a place which is a very remote in Kenya, where the patients have to walk for 1 hour to reach this community health center. And you see the patients are waiting here. And they just come for the vaccine program, the regular malaria and other vaccine. There are 7 diseases, they get vaccines. But to get a simple vaccine, they have to walk minimum 10 kilometers. I don't think in India, even from a village, they have to walk 10 kilometers. There are some remote tribal villages in the deep mountains where they have to really walk 6 to 10 kilometers. Even, yeah, we are visiting and we have a community empowerment program going on in a village in our place where there is no bus service. The people walk 8 kilometers to reach their primary health center. Still, we have, in a country, we have. But it is a very rare situation in India, but in Kenya, it is a common situation. That's the only difference. And even the school children, there's no proper education on the disease. So we have donated them the face mask and the hand sanitizers and the education materials. And it was really happy to see this boy going back from school that day wearing his face mask. Till that day, he was not heard about the face mask. But the day he got a face mask, he was happy to wear it and go. So the service from the clinical side, you take from the most developed countries like the United States, the German, the France, and the developing countries like ours, and the underdeveloped countries like African countries and all, like, see, everywhere the doctors, the clinicians, they contribute from advanced research, like what you see these pictures is called a molecular imaging, where you don't have to, like X-ray or MRI, you don't have to even put a patient inside. Just without touching the patient, without using any kind of X-rays or ionizing radiations, there are molecular imaging methods have been developed, and advanced research scientists from the Cornell and Memorial Sloan Kettering and New York universities, the Memorial Sloan Kettering research centers, to a very, in a very small way, village doctor is providing the clinical data for our clinical research. That everyone contribute to the clinical service. But at the end, as a patient, they don't see all the pains what the clinical fraternity is undergoing. They only see what they get. I went to the doctor, I got treated. I'm well. Okay, fine. I went to this doctor, not happy. I went to another doctor. Okay. Then I went to the third doctor. Still, I'm not feeling fine. Then I'm going to the fourth doctor. Here, it's a problem not with the doctors, it is problem with the patient. Because here the patient wants to get the treatment what he wants, not the clinicians prescribe. These are prejudiced mind, a prejudiced treatment where the patient is expecting from a doctor. He'll be happy until he meets a doctor who's prescribing a medicine which he wants, not the doctor prescribes. Okay. There are patients like this. So we have seen all sorts of the situations. And also we have seen where there are failure from the clinical side also. We cannot deny that. There are, it happens. But the moment it happens, those problems are rectified. But some cases at the expense of the patient's life. Sure, we have to accept we lost the patient, but problem is rectified. But some places where the patients are recovered and the problems are also rectified. After all, the clinical fraternity, they are also human beings. So here is a human. Okay. So working with this setup, with the hospital setup, at the community level, at the social level, we have established a community empowerment program in the remote villages, even within India, in 3 places. And day-to-day life, we interact with the patients, the relatives, and the different hospitals, the different clinical surveys, and the diagnostic and the scan services. We know the problem as it is. So we know the value of everyone who is contributing to this service. Unfortunately, the healthcare service has becoming a healthcare industry. We started calling as the healthcare industry. Why? I'll give you a very simple example for that. Just happened 2 days back. A boy, 7 years old boy, he put one tamarind seed. You know, a beautiful round, the tamarind seed in his nose. That happened on a Friday, last Friday. Saturday, they complained it has got swollen, and they have approached to a multi-specialty hospital in Bangalore. And the hospital told the relatives to pay 50,000 rupees immediately. When the father of the boy, he called me, what to do? Then I said, don't pay, you just come back. You take him to a nearest hospital. To the casualty, I will tell them. And they brought the boy to the casualty. Within 10 minutes, they removed the seed. Took only few hundred rupees. And they went back. The boy is happy now. That type of situations are also happening. Because the boy's father, he knows me well. Somehow after reaching the multi-specialty hospital, he remembered me and he called me. So with 500 rupees, the boy was treated. You think about someone who's paying 50,000 rupees for removing a tamarind seed. Those situations are also there. I want to give a very open and clear-cut picture about what is happening now. I cannot say that the service always remains as a service. There are more economics into that than the service in some places, which we cannot deny that. Truth is always a truth. You have to accept the truth. But keeping away some that kind of a rare incidences, if you see in general, so even if it's one vote, you get more than your opposite, you are the winner. Here it's more than 90% of the clinical service is very good. They are doing a selfless and society-based service by the doctors is extended in our country. And we are really blessed to have born in this country and getting their service. So we have to be very happy that India, the healthcare has not gone into the industry till now. It is still in the service sector. So with that, I'm concluding my talk. And thank you so much for giving me a wonderful opportunity to share some of our experience in this field. And thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for such informative session, illuminating and enlightening things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I am thankful on behalf of DBMI Darbhanga very much to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Yes, sir. We have to start. Our next speaker has to come, and after it, you will be there. Will you be there, sir? You will.
Yeah, I will
touch.
be there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any student wants any question? Any student wants any question? If you want to ask any question, you can ask. Sir is there. He is available. He will be answering your question. अगर आप में से किसी को कोई सवाल करना है तो आप बोलिए. कोई क्वेरी है, कोई कंफ्यूजन है, किसी को कोई सवाल करना है तो पूछ सकते हैं. ओके. All right, sir. Thank you. I think no student has any question. Thank you, sir. Every of your information was so clear that there is no query. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right. All
Okay,
right.
bye.
Very much. Thank you. Yes, dear students, you are listening.
Okay. Yes. Now I am going to invite Dr. Zafar Alam Saab, ex-surgeon and professor of anatomy. He has given his 20 years to GMCH. His services are so important to the health and to the humanity, and he will be coming and sharing his ideas, and his words will be valuable for all of us. अब मैं दावत देता हूँ डॉक्टर जफर आलम साहब को, जो हमारे चीफ गेस्ट हैं आज के नेशनल डॉक्टर्स डे के, कि वो आए और आने के बाद हम सबको अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन से आगाह करें. सर प्लीज आइए. ये दोनों काम करता है. अरे वाह. बोलना खाली साइड चेंज. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आदाब. मैं डॉक्टर जफर आलम आप लोगों से आज नेशनल डॉक्टर्स डे के बारे में थोड़ी बहुत जानकारी देने के लिए हाजिर हुआ हूँ. और आज के दिन में हम डॉक्टरों की क्या अहमियत है उसके बारे में मैं मुख्तसर में कुछ बात कहना चाहता हूँ. कि आज का दिन नेशनल डॉक्टर्स डे, जिसके लिए हम लोग यहाँ पर जमा हुए हैं, इस डे का मकसद है कि आज के दिन हम उन हजारों लाखों डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेस और मेडिकल प्रोफेशन से जुड़े उन सारे लोगों के खिदमात का एतराफ़ और शुक्रिया अदा करें जो वो हर इंसान बल्कि सारे देशवासियों के लिए कर रहे हैं. क्योंकि ये वही लोग हैं
जो हर आदमी के दुख दर्द का इलाज करते हैं और उनके फायदे के लिए रिसर्च करके इलाज के लिए नए नए तरीकों और दवाओं का इजाद करते हैं। नेशनल डॉक्टर्स डे का एक शुरू होने की वजह के बारे में थोड़ी सी हम जानकारी देना चाहेंगे कि नेशनल डॉक्टर्स डे दुनिया के सभी मुल्कों में मुख्तलिफ डेट्स पर मनाया जाता है। ये भारत में 1991 1 जुलाई 1991 से सरकारी तौर पर मनाया जाने लगा। 1 जुलाई उस हमदर्द इंसान को ट्रिब्यूट देने के लिए मनाया जाता है जिनका नाम डॉक्टर विधान चंद्र रॉय था, जो 1 जुलाई 1882 को इस दुनिया में आए और उसी 1 जुलाई 1962 को 80 वर्ष की उम्र में इस दुनिया को छोड़कर अपने परमानेंट एबोर्ड पर चले गए। वो एक बेहतरीन फिजिशियन, वेस्ट बंगाल के दूसरे चीफ मिनिस्टर, मशहूर फ्रीडम फाइटर और समाज सुधारक फोरम ब्रह्मो समाज के एक मेंबर थे। उनके दिल में बीमार इंसानियत का दर्द था, दुख जिसको दूर करने के लिए वो हमेशा कोशा रहते थे। मेरे साथियों, इंसान को पैदाइश से लेकर मौत तक किसी न किसी बीमारी में मुब्तला होना पड़ता है, जिसके दूर करने के लिए डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेस और मेडिकल स्टाफ की जरूरत होती है। और ये वही लोग होते हैं जो हर वक्त मरीजों और जरूरतमंदों की खिदमत में लगे रहते हैं। दौलत और सेहत लाजिम मलरूम है, मगर बीमार आदमी के लिए ये सारी दौलत और ऐशो आराम बेकार है। जब हम पैदा होते हैं तो हमें नर्सेस या मिडवाइफ की जरूरत, जब बीमार होते हैं तो या इमरजेंसी होती है तो डॉक्टर्स की जरूरत, और जब मरते हैं तो डेथ सर्टिफिकेट के लिए भी इन्हीं लोगों की जरूरत पड़ती है। इन सभी मेडिकल के शोबे से जुड़े हुए यही वो लोग होते हैं जो दिन रात और हर वक्त अपने दिल में इंसानियत का दर्द लिए लोगों की जिस्मानी और दिमागी बीमारियों के इलाज में मशगूल रहते हैं। इसी इंसानी जज्बे के तहत मौजूदा कोविड-19 महामारी में सैकड़ों डॉक्टर्स और पारा मेडिकल स्टाफ ने मरीजों की खिदमत करते हुए अपनी जानें कुर्बान कर दी हैं, लेकिन अपने फराइज से मुंह नहीं मोड़ा। और इन सभी डॉक्टर और मेडिकल स्टाफ को खसूसी तौर पर मैं ट्रिब्यूट देता हूं और सलाम पेश करता हूं। और इसी इंसानी हमदर्दी और दुख दर्द दूर करके जिंदगी के मैदान में फिर से खड़ा करने की सलाहियत की वजह से लोग उन्हें सेकंड गॉड तक कहने से नहीं हिचकिचाते। हमारे वो साथी जो इस मेडिकल प्रोफेशन से जुड़े हैं, उनको दुखी इंसानियत की खिदमत और उनके दर्द को दूर करने के लिए रिसर्चेस के जरिए नए नए तरीके ढूंढने की जरूरत है, ताकि वो और बेहतर तरीकों पर इलाज कर सकें। साथियों, आज के दिन ये भी जरूरी है कि हम अपने यंग जनरेशन को जहनी तौर पर उस मुकद्दस पेशे को इख्तियार करने के लिए तैयार करें और उनके जज्बे खिदमत खल्क को उभारें। लेकिन समाजी नाबराबरी और अखराजात की ज्यादती के सबब सभी डॉक्टरी की महंगाई पढ़ाई के लिए अपने को तैयार नहीं कर पाते। इसलिए सरकारी तौर पर और प्राइवेट तौर पर भी उनके इस जज्बे को पूरा करने के लिए कम वक्त और कम खर्च में पारा मेडिकल कोर्सेज का भी इंतजाम किया गया। आपके शहर दरभंगा में भी एक इदारा दिल्ली पारा मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट मौजूद है, जो अपने बेहतर पढ़ाई और बेहतर ट्रेनिंग के लिए मशहूर है। और इसके लिए बहुत से दर्दमंद लोग कोशा हैं ताकि पढ़ाई आम हो सके और सभी स्ट्राटा ऑफ पीपल उसको हासिल कर सकें। शुक्रिया, आज के दिन के लिए थोड़ी सी इंट्रोडक्शन दी। मैं अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रहा हूं। मैं यहीं PMCH से डिप्लोमा और PG मैंने किया। उसके बाद सरकारी जॉब में रहा। 16-17 साल मैंने वहाँ टीचिंग का जॉब किया। उसके बाद मैं सिविल सर्जन से रिटायर होकर के आ गया हूँ और यहीं पर हूँ। आज DPMI के लोगों ने मुझे इनवाइट किया इस बहुत ही अहम मौके पर, और आपके सामने मैं जो भी मुझे जानकारी थी वो मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ। उसके लिए आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। ठीक है। हाँ?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Zafar Alam Sahab, for coming to this program and delivering your speech on this National Doctors Day and sharing such informative things with us. सर, हम आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं, शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आप हमारी दावत पर तशरीफ लाए और आपने निहायत कारगर और निहायत मुफीद बातें और इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे सामने रखी। हम आपके बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। इसके बाद आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट डॉक्टर कायनात आफ्ताब, आवर प्रिंसिपल मैम ऑफ DPMI दरभंगा। शी विल बी कमिंग टू गिव हर वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। मैम। right one.
गुड आफ्टरनून ऑल ऑफ यू। मैं सबसे पहले अपने चीफ गेस्ट यहाँ पर जो मौजूद हैं डॉक्टर जफर आलम से मैं उनका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ। आज हमारे बीच हमारे बच्चों जो ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन दोनों मोड में हैं, इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर चल रहे हैं अभी, उनका भी मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ। आज डॉक्टर्स डे है। डॉक्टर्स डे हम लोग डॉक्टर्स को समझते भी हैं, कुछ कंप्लेन होती है तो डॉक्टर्स के पास जाते भी हैं, लेकिन हमारी लाइफ में जब हेल्थ इश्यू होता है तो डॉक्टर का अहम रोल हमारी लाइफ में क्या है वो अब ये 2 साल में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग समझ पाए हैं, क्योंकि डॉक्टर्स को इम्पोर्टेंस दे रहे थे बट उनको ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दे पा रहे थे। जो उनका एक अहम रोल था वो नहीं समझ पा रहे थे, वो अब समझ में आया है सभी के दिलों में। इस महामारी को जो पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन है अभी, इसको लेकर के मैं अपने जितने भी डॉक्टर्स हैं नेशनल इंटरनेशनल या वो कहीं भी अभी सर्विस दे रहे हैं पेशेंट के साथ, मैं उनका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ, क्योंकि उनका एक अहम रोल है। वो पेशेंट को ट्रीटमेंट देके या उनकी अपनी बात को समझा करके, उनकी लाइफ चेंज करके, उनकी लाइफ में बता करके आप क्या करेंगे तो आपकी लाइफ के लिए बेटर होगा। क्योंकि जब डॉक्टर समझाते हैं पेशेंट को तो ज़्यादा बेटर पेशेंट समझ पाते हैं, ना कि घर पर अगर कोई है वो पेशेंट को ट्रीटमेंट दे रहे हैं और बता भी रहे हैं तो वो समझते नहीं है। इसलिए मैं समझती हूँ कि हमारे लाइफ में डॉक्टर का बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस है। तो अभी इस पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन में जब हम हॉस्पिटल पहुँच रहे हैं तो बहुत हालत ख़राब है पेशेंटों की। पेशेंट डॉक्टर पर चिल्ला रहे हैं, बहुत डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ पेशेंट करते हैं डॉक्टर्स के साथ, बट डॉक्टर उन सिचुएशन को समझते हुए पेशेंट को बहुत ईजिली वे में हैंडल कर रहे हैं। बहुत पेशेंट ठीक भी हुए डॉक्टर के अच्छे से, क्योंकि डॉक्टर ने इस महामारी में वो डरे नहीं, एफ्रेड नहीं हुए कि मैं इस बीमारी की वजह से मैं पेशेंट को नहीं देखूं। उन्होंने सोचा कि नहीं, मुझे अच्छी गुड सर्विस देनी चाहिए पेशेंट के साथ। उन्होंने अच्छे हेल्थ बनाने के लिए उनकी सर्विस में कोई कमी नहीं की। इस सिचुएशन में वो एकदम बिल्कुल अपनी जान की बाजी लगा दी है पेशेंट को देखने में, और बहुत सारे पेशेंट ठीक भी हुए। बहुत डॉक्टर्स अभी मरे हैं इस 2 साल में, जितने डॉक्टर्स मरे हैं मुझे नहीं लगता है कि अभी 100 साल में भी इतने डॉक्टर मरे होंगे। पैरामेडिक्स भी बहुत ज्यादा मरे हैं, लेकिन इसी वजह से हम आज सभी डॉक्टर को सैल्यूट करते हैं डीपीएमआई की ओर से, डीपीएमआई की फैमिली की तरफ से। डॉक्टर अभी वो जिस डिपार्टमेंट के भी हो, वो किडनी के हो, हार्ट के हो या फिर मेडिसिन के हो, जिस डिपार्टमेंट के हो, सबका अलग अलग एक इम्पोर्टेंस है। लेकिन हम सारे डिपार्टमेंट के डॉक्टर्स को डीपीएमआई की फैमिली की तरफ से थैंक्स बोलते हैं। और साथ साथ पैरामेडिक्स को भी मैं बोलती हूँ, क्योंकि आज पैरामेडिक्स डे है नहीं, बट वो उनके साथ राइट हैंड बन के खड़े होते हैं, क्योंकि उनको आगे बढ़ने के लिए, पेशेंट को देखने के लिए उन लोगों ने अपनी आज बहुत जान दी है। तो ये एक टीम होती है, एक टीम वर्क होता है, इसलिए मैं सैल्यूट करती हूँ डॉक्टर्स को। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू। माय टाइम। मैं 5 मिनट अभी वेट करें, अभी डॉक्टर्स को यहाँ पर सम्मानित किया जाएगा, क्योंकि सभी डॉक्टर्स को हम सम्मानित अपने शब्दों से कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम वहां तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं कि उनको मेमेंटो या फिर सर्टिफिकेट दे करके हम सम्मानित करें। हमारी नजर में उनकी बहुत इज्जत है, तो मैं उनको यहीं से अपने शब्दों से सम्मानित कर रही हूँ डीपीएमआई की तरफ से। और जो डॉक्टर्स हमारे सामने मौजूद हैं, मैं उनको मेमेंटो से सम्मानित करना चाह रही हूँ और सर्टिफिकेट से। आप लोग अभी 2 मिनट यहाँ पर रुके और आप लोग देखें कि किस तरह से डॉक्टर को सम्मान दिया जा रहा है। आप सभी बच्चे से मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप लोग अच्छे से पढ़े और इस लायक बने कि आप लोगों को भी सम्मान किया जाए। थैंक यू।
Now I invite Naushad sir, one of our directors, to come and to honor our chief guest. मैं दरखास्त करूंगा नौशाद सर से, जो हमारे डायरेक्टर हैं, वो तशरीफ लाएं और हमारे चीफ गेस्ट को ऑनर करें। नौशाद सर। I am very much thankful to all of you to come and to attend this session. And this session was really successful and a very good session, informative session. Our two guest speakers, Dr. Zafar Alam Sahab, our chief guest, and Dr. Elango Murugan, one of our speaker was speaking from Tamil Nadu, Chennai. He is a scientist. I am thankful to both of them. I am thankful to all audience here present and all audience and all the participants who are participating online our program. मैं शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं हमारे स्पीकर का, हमारे मुकर्रिरीन का कि हमारी दावत पर तशरीफ लाए और इतनी बेहतरीन हमें उम्दा इंफॉर्मेशन और इतनी ज़बरदस्त मालूमात से नवाजा। मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ आप सभी का, आप सब लोग आए, जो ऑफलाइन आए हैं उनका, सभी शिरकत करने वालों का, और जो ऑनलाइन शिरकत कर रहे हैं उनका थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू। और हम ऐलान करते हैं इस प्रोग्राम के ख़त्म होने का। वी अनाउंस द एंड ऑफ द सेशन एंड द एंड ऑफ द प्रोग्राम। थैंक यू वेरी मच।